Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. I wanted to start this video out with what my husband got me for our anniversary, which was 5 years, which is supposed to be wood, so kudos to his creativity. I absolutely love it. Have I ever grown a bonsai before in my life? Never, not nary once. So if anyone out there grows bonsais and has any tips or tricks or whatever, bring them on because I could use them. I'm very intimidated, but I love him. I've named him Suli. So there he is. But he is not what the video today is about. Today's video is about Leca and my houseplants. If you remember from my last video, I was in the process of transferring my houseplants to Leca. And I said that I would give you a progress report. So that's what this is today, is a progress report. Now, the first plant that I have is a Calathea. I should learn how to pronounce these darn things if I'm going to grow them. But anywho, I call them prayer plants. And she has done really well. She has given me 2 new leaves. And she transitioned right over. I was worried because, you know, the prayer plants can be a little fussy. But she has transitioned beautifully. There's one Calathea that I transitioned. Sorry, people. Here is another one that I transitioned. When it started out, it had just these 2 little leaves, and I've gotten these 2 new big leaves since I transitioned it. Something tells me in my heart of hearts that if I would have left these plants in dirt, I would have had crispy leaves. They just wouldn't have done as well because I think they like the moisture of the hydro because it's always got water in the bottom there. It's always in water. I leave the water till it's about halfway up those slots. I transitioned another Calathea. She's looking really well. Now, let me mention, though, she is just a little droopy. And with that being said, that gives me a segue into the importance of showering. Now, a lot of people have asked, what's showering? What do you mean? Do I take them in the shower with me? What? No. Showering is, you really should do this when you first transition your plants. And that is just taking them out of the pot and put them underneath your faucet. And you run it until you can see it running out the bottom. And then you keep running it for about 30 seconds. Give the leaves a good little thing because that's going to moisten the leca. And it will just, it's like giving her a little drink of water, a little more boost. And then I just put her back in her catch pot and I leave the water still at maybe up to that 1 slot. But that's like I said, is a good segue into the importance of flushing, or what is showering. That's what showering is. You will have to do this once a month because when you use fertilizer, which I'll get into in a minute, that's going to leave buildup on that leca, so it needs to get flushed off. So about once a month, you are going to have to take all your house plants and just give them a good flush and put them back. Now, I have probably 20 house plants right now in leca. I'm not going to show you them all, but I do have about 20, and that takes me possibly an hour to do. So it is a little more time, but I have 300 house plants altogether. And that takes me at least an hour and a half to water them all. So, you know what, a little leca, a little hour watering, whatever. All right, and the importance of flushing right after you transfer a plant. Let me introduce Miss Princess to you. This is a purple passion. It was. This is a purple passion plant. And she is still struggling. She's got 1 little new leaf there. But I never flushed her. I never showered her because I put her in the window and I completely forgot about her. So after this video, I will definitely I'm going to give her a good flush. I will trim off all those dead leaves and I will apologize profusely and hopefully maybe I can save her. I don't know. But that right there is a good example of why you need to check your plants. They're not like orchids when you put them in water culture and just walk away and don't fuss with them. With the leca, you do have to fuss a little bit. So, all right, the next ones that I had transferred that I was really excited about. Oh, wait, let me show you this one. This is another prayer plant that I transferred, and she is doing awesome as well. There's a new leaf uncurling. She's got another new leaf there. So she has, all my prayer plants have taken to the Leca transition beautifully. I'm pleased, pleased, pleased. Okay, so the next one that I wanted to show you was the beginner of it all, and she is my angel wing begonia. And what I did with her was I have another mama plant, and I just cut a start off her, and I put her in the Leca. And again, I just made sure that the water was up to that first thing. But with her, I did flush her. I flushed her at least once a day, if not every other day. And as I snip off little starts from mama plant, because she's crazy with the babies, I just kind of put them back into the Leca. So this is the result of quite a few starts. But again, she's doing beautifully. I love her. I am half tempted to take mama plant out and do Leca on her, but she's a little bit more mature. From what I have learned and researched, the younger the plant, the more success at this. I mean, if they're old and set in their ways like me, I don't think I'd take the Leca very well because I'm old and crotchety. Okay, so the next one I wanted to show you that really took well, that was on my last video, was the Chinese Evergreen. Now this one I had started again from a mama plant, and he fussed and whined and carried on. I lost a bunch of leaves. Finally, he decided he did like Leca. He was in my other video. He was only had one new leaf. Now he has 3. So now with this one, if you notice, he's just in a vase with the Leca, and I keep the water to about there. But after this video, I'm going to check his roots. And if he's got really good roots, then I'm going to go ahead and transition him to this setup. I'm going to take him out of there and transition him, even though he's doing really well, just like he is. I don't know. It depends on my mood, what I do with him. Now, these 2 plants here, I did, and I was really skeptical. I call them weeds. Some people call them oxtails. They're really pretty, though. I like them. They remind me of a pear plant because they close up at night. And she also flowers. But I was skeptical. Now, she was, I had her for probably 3 months before I transitioned her to Leca. And has done, I mean, it's like I never even did anything to her. She's still growing, and like I said, she's even produced a little flower for me. Come on. And this one as well, I had ordered him from the nursery, and he came in this little pot. So what I did was, because sometimes when you transition, you'll see that your roots are so delicate. Don't kill the plant trying to clean the roots. You can trim the bottom roots off a little bit, but there again is another reason why you should do your flushing and your showering method, because those dead roots are going to flush out of there, and the roots that are going to grow are going to be adapted to the Leca water culture. And I hope that makes sense. Now his roots were like that. I mean, they were so little that instead of just putting him in one of these big pots, I went ahead and put him back in his nursery pot, and I just filled it up with Leca, and I put him in this little vase, and then I'll add water to about there. Now he does need water, so you can even see my water line where I keep it. He does need water now. He's empty. And I do the flush with him. I did the flush all the time because they do like moisture. And he's kind of a senior citizen because he closes up and goes to bed pretty early. But there he is. Now my other one that I had done was my Peperoma. And she is doing really well again. As you can see, she's got a couple new leaves. She was doing good in dirt, but I put her in Leca. Now the other one that I have, whoops, sorry. Another good example of why you should flush is my little ponytail palm. And first the cats got to it, and then the cats got to it again. And he's just not doing well. So I'm not sure if this one's going to make it or not. And I'm just going to chalk it up to, hey, you win some and you lose some. But, and I didn't do the flush with him, so it's my bad. It's my fault if he makes it or doesn't make it. I have found that the begonias do really well in the Leca. I transitioned her probably 2 weeks ago, and she's doing well. With the begonias, I did do, oh, she even got a little flower. With the begonias, I do find flush, 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 and then flush again at the very start. Once they get transitioned and they're good, I don't worry about the flushing, except for the once a month thing, because I do use fertilizer. People have asked, do you grow African violets in Leca? Well, yes, I do. I have a couple African violets. Now, she, and they have both were on clearance, so they were really beat up when I first put her in there, but I thought she didn't have anything to lose anyway, so I did. And she's looking pretty good. She's still got those brown spots on the leaves from mistreatment in the nursery. When I do a flush with her, I really do try to be careful not to get her leaves too wet. But I don't also worry about it because I have an oscillating fan on my plants. They are so spoiled. But yes, so there's your question. Can you grow an African violet in Leca? Yes, you can. Other people have asked, can you grow succulents in Leca? Well, yes, you can. This one is actually, I'm not sure if she is a succulent. I've heard different stories on her. She may be a peperona. When I ordered her, it said it was a succulent and it was a green bean plant. Now, I have taken a start in throwing her in Leca, and I don't know if you can see, she does have a little root coming out. So once those roots start establishing themselves, then I'll put her in Leca. But again, I only leave the water there so that she's not submerged in water. And so far, so good. I mean, it's been, I don't know, 3 weeks, and she ain't dead. So there you go. I'm kind of thinking that succulents might. Because here's my little cactus plant that I took a start off mama plant and put this one in Leca, and I needs a little water, but I do see a little root coming out there. So far so good on the cactus plant. My last video, I had just gotten this plant. It's called a squill plant, and I don't even know. I don't even know. It's just called squill plant. And when I got him, he was probably that big, this little baby here. But he's really taken to Leca. And he's got a little ball down. He almost reminds me of an orchid. I mean, I don't know if you can see. Well, I'm not even going to show you anymore because I'll have to disturb him. But yeah, he's taken to Leca very well, along with this other squill plant that I got. He fussed and fought a little bit about the transferring of it, but I just did the flush really religiously, and by dingy, he's come around. I don't know if they flower. I don't know anything about them, but they do remind me of an orchid. Okay, and now this one is my sweet potato vine. I've started him in water, and I am going to put him in Leca after this video. So I'll keep you updated on how he's doing. I thought that would be kind of fun because I like sweet potato vines. And last but not least is my, oh wait, I want to show you this one too. My little Swiss cheese plant. He's doing really well. I mean, I'm ready to cut this off and restart it. And then when I was giving him his flush today, I looked, and look at these roots. Now, when you see roots like that coming out, don't worry about them. Let them go. But just never, don't fill your water all the way up to here. Just keep it so they're kind of sitting in water. If they get too crazy, you can even cut them off. But I've seen plants that have grown in Leca that their roots are, and so if they get too crazy, you just trim them off. But I thought he's my first one actually, that the roots are coming out the bottom. So I did want to show that to you. And then the little jade tree, he was a start, and I threw him in Leca. So far, so good. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about fertilizer. When I fertilize my plants, I use what's called Dynagrow. I talked about this on a previous video. Dynagrow, I do it about once a month. And then the rest of the time, I just use water that I have left out in buckets. And it is very important to test your pH. So if you don't have, you know what, that's really good for your plants that are growing in dirt. My husband and I argued about that. He won because I did notice there was a tremendous difference in my plants when I started balancing my pH. And you don't have to be a chemist to do it. I did it, failed chemistry, but even I'm able to balance my pH. You do need a pH tester, and you need two things. It's called pH up or pH down, depending, and then you use whichever depending on what your meter is telling you. Very simple, but so it's very important to get your pH water right. And like I said, also to use some kind of nutrient in your plants because they are just water. They don't have the soil. And that is why also I think they do better in the Leca because they're not fighting the soil for the water and the nutrients. They're just getting it right straight. It's like mainlining nutrients. So there you go. All right, that's all I have for you today. I hope that you've enjoyed this and it was informative. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm always available. And happy growing until the next time. See ya.